Just imagine a world with just two names. Let's say X and Y. If X was, expected to perform acts like going out and earning, and Y is supposed to stay at home and cook. If there were so restrictive rules, what a terrible world it would be. If you are born as something and then you want to behave in a different way, I'm nobody to question that. Gender is, it's more psychological. It's like a name. It's what you associate yourself with. And if you tell me that your name is Y, not X, I can't argue with you about it. It's a basic sign of respect. I'm currently 16 years old. I never felt like a part of either group. And there was nothing in common with the boys of my school. And I could never identify with or relate to anything that they did. Football, they were proud of their body hair. I hated mine. And again, their conduct in general, they cracked jokes which were irrelevant and very abusive and hurtful, even though they probably never thought it was. But I just couldn't bear to stay with them, around them, in their company. And with girls, it was a problem too, because my appearance was not that of a cisgender girl, which again led to the problem of no relation, no connection between us and our experiences in life. Which is when I turned to social media, because I was never getting what I wanted from real physical people around me. So I moved on to a virtual space. I could do whatever I wanted to without seeking the validation of those people around me. I cross dressed, I did makeup, I did face painting, I did all of these things. I got into activism, I started reading more, and just understanding our community better. And all of this I could do on social media handles like Instagram and Tumblr. It was so, so beautiful existing in that sort of virtual space, because they say it's unsafe, but it's really much safer if you are already on the fringes of the society that you live in. And it distracts me from my pain whenever there is. I needed an outlet, and that was it. It throws me into this space where I can feel like I belong. Just imagine that the world that you choose to live in each day is not real. And then suddenly the next day, the next morning, you're thrown into this world that you don't belong to. That's what it was like for me. It was a constant shift. I was super confused, because the internet really does manage to not give you all the answers in the exact way you want them to. I needed a place in this real world where I could be free. Otherwise, I'm sure I would have gone crazy. That's when somebody told me about our school counselor, and they told me that she was a safe person to talk to. And, I said, all right, so I'll just go and speak with her. That's when our conversation started, and she was actually intrigued by me. So we kept talking, and ultimately she became somebody who I'd come to every day and talk about any issue that I had. And then, she offered confidentiality, which was a plus point. I'm very sure that if I would have come out or presented my problem to my parents, they wouldn't have taken me to a psychologist to assist me in my mental health, to help me out with everyday matters. And the one thing which normally shouldn't happen is that she became like a friend. Because I could never have people my age as my friends. And that made me realize that I'm a human being, not a robot. I will act in ways which are diverse within my sexuality and my expression. And that was pretty obvious even in the beginning when I started first exploring my sexual identity. I thought I was gay. I thought I just liked, just boys. Then I moved on to bisexual because girls started arousing me. I thought people were hot in general. And by the end, at the end of 10th, I thought I don't really identify with one of the gender identities. Then how could I possibly identify with my sexual identity if I'm not sure what my gender is at all times? How can I say I'm gay or I'm straight or I'm bi? When you start learning more about other people who are like you, mostly people who defied the rules set by the society, you realize that there are terms which can describe you better. How it was a bad idea to be classified into one binary or the other, and to have your actions guided by, the standards set. Naina Singh is a young transgender person in Delhi, and she's probably the youngest person I knew who was around me. So she had come to our school and she gave a speech where she spoke about her transitioning.
As a transgender woman, as a transsexual woman, it is our duty to support each other. Yes? So that's why I wanted to talk about it and really like.
And her mother was there with her, Mishi Auntie, and I spoke to both of them after this program ended. It made me feel like a burden had been lifted off my shoulders. Because Mishi Auntie was very confident. She said, if you feel like this, and, we could talk to your parents. That made me feel really nice and warm.
If we can help other kids, other parents to understand it's okay, then I think we all have the same mission here, sitting here.
But that episode ended, and the next day, my principal, she called for me, which was quite unusual, so it shocked me. And she said, why don't you come in and talk to me? I was like, okay, all right, sure. And then she said, if somebody in the school ever tries to insult you by talking about your sexuality or your gender, you get him here. I'll get hold of that kid and he'll be gone. Mostly guys were like real bullies, and the girls were like that, calm the situation and, be friendly. So she said this to me and I was taken aback. I said, who told you? And she said the counselor thought it would be safe for me to know. I guess it was a good decision on her part because that actually made me feel a lot more safe in school. Because I knew I had the support of the administration. This is normally something that teachers and principals don't talk to their students about. They pretend like the issue doesn't exist amongst kids. And my principal, she went the extra mile and she made the effort to speak with me about this. We had several workshops and sessions where we used to learn more about gender or sexuality, their existence, and anything that we needed to know that other schools probably would not try to teach their children because they felt like parents would be a bit hostile. You know, there are not only boys and not only girls, there are people who identify as gender fluid and those who are agender, which means that you do not have a gender at all, or non binary people. There are several genders. You can choose to be whatever you want to. Most of the time, nobody said anything to me about the way I walk or the way I talk, which normally people outside the premises of the school would. I think our teachers were very, very informed about being gender neutral. And we weren't always even asked to divide ourselves according to boys and girls, except for our maths books or in sports classes. We were generally just, young students. This was our teacher's general attitude, but they really did not do anything about me. It was more of just being normal about it. I'd only, come out to a few friends or a few teachers or, the principal, but not to the whole school. I mean, they could probably sense there was something different about me, but it was never official. My brother was in that school, and there were teachers who were close to my parents, and I couldn't afford to let them know. You see, I wasn't even out to my own brother till about 2 months ago. Simply because I thought he did not have the information to maturely react to this disclosure. He didn't even have the slightest clue about sexuality because he was quite young. But whenever they used to get into the changing rooms, students who were in my class, all those boys had very negative views about me. And he always wondered, why are they calling my brother gay? And he would get really mad at them, and he used to get worried and he used to come home and tell my mother, which really scared me because I wasn't sure how she was going to react to it, and she would probably tell me to man up or behave in a certain way so that these kids do not speak about me in such a derogatory manner, because to them gay is a very derogatory word. Even though in general I felt like I never belonged, by the end of 10th, I had a little group. I had people who I could speak with or who I could hang out with. Of course, because of breaking barriers, which is like our school level gay straight alliance, were kind enough and willing to open up their brains and minds to a vast diversity of people around them. We used to give out presentations to just spread awareness about what the community was. So in this last session that we had before I left, included the teachers of all the teachers of the school. And as I was conducting that session about this and explaining the concept of LGBT plus to them, in the end, I boldly came out to all of them. The teachers who knew my parents, they were in the audience. And even that did not deter me. I told them, this is who I am, and I'm very happy about it. After that, it went pretty normal, pretty cool. Nobody said anything extremely different about me. And the only reason why I feel that could be was because our teachers were educated about this. And that's what I adore most about them. When I planned to leave the school, nobody really wanted me to leave because even though we had our share of ups and downs, there was still this sort of appreciation I think they had of me in their eyes for being courageous enough to survive in this sort of intolerant world. The parting words of my counselor were the best gift perhaps that I'd received, because after 2 years of trying to pull me out of my negative shell, the last thing she told me was, congratulations, you've finally entered the world of self-love. And that's what's most important. When you start to unlearn all that hate that you've been taught about yourself, and you enter the world of self-love, when you know that your best friend is sitting right inside of you, you know you have nothing to worry about. And I'm thankful for my school for teaching me that. So more than my academic growth, they helped me survive. And I will always be grateful to them for that.